Cue the music, Joel. Let's go. Oh, yeah. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Eat, Sleep, Install, Repeat podcast. I'm your host, Rudy Taliani. And as always, I'm joined by Joel Hilditch. How you doing today, Joel?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good. We are on episode 12 today, and we thought we'd do something kind of special today. We're really excited. We're going to bring on Jason Zavarella from Kanto to kind of talk about CEDIA, to see what, how his CEDIA experience was this year. As you know, it was about two weeks ago.
As of filming,
about 2 weeks ago. So we thought we'd bring him on and kind of talk to him about some of the new product or features that they were shown at CEDIA this year. And also maybe just to get his overall feel for the show, overall vibe check, right?
Yeah.
So without further ado, let's bring on Jason Zavarella, product manager for Kanto. Welcome to the show, Jason. How are you?
I'm excellent.
Awesome.
I really appreciate you guys having me. Thank you.
We're happy to have you.
Happy to have you. And honestly, just a pleasure to finally get to meet you.
Yes.
We were. Is that your
There's my
dog?
dog right at the beginning of the podcast.
Can we see her?
Yeah, give me a sec. I'll bring her up here. She's confused because there's people doing work outside right now.
Oh, there you go.
She's so angry. What's going on?
Oh,
Is that a poodle
I'll have
mix?
to get rid of her. This sad pup.
that's all Joel wanted.
Yeah. That's all I wanted to see was the dog.
Alrighty.
Well, as we were saying, just thank you for joining us today, and excited to be able to get to meet you. And but before we kind of get into CEDIA, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? How'd you get started with Kanto? How'd you kind of get into the industry?
Yeah, for sure. So I actually started with Kanto over 10 years now. I think it's 11 years as of this year. I started actually as a customer support and admin, and I just kind of got my hands a little bit more in product design just because I was passionate about it. And at a certain point, they kind of needed someone to do a bit more like legit project management or product management. It was a small company being handled by the CEO and the president. And so at a certain point, they just saw the passion that I had for it. And, they offered me the role of doing product management. Then I think that was maybe about 6-7 years ago or something like that. So I've been doing that for a good amount of time. And I'm responsible for new product development. So we have two different categories. We're probably going to focus mostly on mounts today. But I manage both the mount and audio side of things for new products.
Yeah, and we were introduced to Kanto for the mounts, but really you guys do all kinds of stuff. Maybe you could speak to that a little bit.
Yeah, so we've almost always had two divisions. We started with, I think our very first product might have been an HDMI cable, and then we got into mounts. And then after that, we got into audio shortly after. So we've had audio running with mounts for quite some time now. And it's two very different product categories. But what's kind of fun is we have our metal expertise when we're making mounts for producing all of our speaker accessories. So, our mounts or our stands for our speakers. We're kind of leaders in that segment. We do a lot of innovative stuff. And we do stuff from the ground up. There's a lot of products out there that are using similar designs, using the same manufacturers, but we've leveraged our expertise in metal, brought it over to our audio side, and are doing some really cool things for the audio accessories. And then, of course, for the speakers, we kind of specialize in powered speakers. We really want to create products that bring people together, that work for people's homes, that kind of do it all. Just modern stuff, right? That works for, people that are living in today's reality, right? Smaller spaces, things that can handle more inputs, things that take cool features from, say the hi-fi world and bring them down to a more accessible place.
And we'll get more into kind of the breakdown of, what you guys do individually, mounts, speakers and everything like that. But let's just get into it. So what was exciting for you this year at CEDIA?
Right. So, it is kind of similar each year in the sense that the thing that I'm most excited about is connecting with the people that use our products. It's like you can do the best you can with warranty surveys and registrations and chatting to people on forums, that sort of thing. But at the end of the day, you're not usually face to face with the people who are using your product. And Cydia gives us that opportunity to connect with the installers and sometimes end users and some of the people that are speccing it out, the project managers. So we get to find out in real time what they like about our product, what they like about competitors' products, what we can do maybe to like switch them over, and what we can do in the future for our product lines to make them happier. So that's always the best part of Cydia for me. And I mean, of course, seeing a 60-inch infrasonic subwoofer is cool too. I like that as well. I've always wanted to feel what 5 hertz feels like, and I did this year, which is really cool. But yeah, connecting with people is what I like about it.
How many people would you say stop by the booth on a daily basis?
It's countless, man.
Yeah.
I can't even say, right? Like in an hour, I'm probably chatting with over 20 people, and that's just me.
Just constant.
And there's like 6 guys running the booth, so I'm not going to do the math.
Yeah.
But it's a huge event, huge turnover. And now with our display being a little bit bigger and being accessible from all 4 sides, you get a lot more traffic and flow through there, which is awesome.
Did you get a chance to actually walk around, or were you kind of stuck to the booth the whole time?
I always make sure to do a walk around. I wouldn't be a proper product manager if I wasn't taking a feel for where the industry is heading, what other companies are doing. So yeah, I definitely got to walk around on the beginning of day 1 when we were kind of done setting up at a bit of time, and then day 2 I took a walk through, and man, Cydia is going really hard on the experience rooms. Their sound rooms were clutch this year. Like I know they've had them before, but I think this time they had more and they were even wilder than usual. So yeah, I always dig that.
I don't know if I've been able to experience that. It's been a while since I've been to a CEDIA, but give us the rundown. What's an experience room?
Yeah, so like basically a few companies that are close to each other, either they're owned by the same larger conglomerate, or maybe they're just tight with each other and just want to work together. They'll create a booth, they'll outfit it with their best audio gear, best AV gear that they have, and they'll create an experience room so you can like get a home, you can see what like the ultimate home theater feels like.
So what was Kanto showing off this year? What were you guys? I just read an article actually saying you guys just introduced the PMX 900 HD, and then the PT 405 and the PF 405. Was that something that was getting shown off, or are there other things you guys were looking at?
Our PMX line is our highest end articulating line. It's where we have the most features. It's the biggest, baddest products. Last year we came out with the PMX 800, which was a bigger version of our PMX 700, which is already a pretty beastly mount at 150 pounds. So the PMX 800 held 200 pounds. It extended out to 31 inches, and it did a 900 by 600 Visa. So, that was pretty much a future-proof mount. And then we decided, well, if someone's got a 100-inch TV or a 115-inch TV from TCL, and they want to put a heavy sound bar on it, you might actually exceed that 200-pound weight capacity. So let's do something bigger. So the PMX 900 HD, we're speccing it from 65 to 140 inches. Now that TV size doesn't exist yet, but the fact that this can hold 275 pounds and it can do a 1,000 by 700 Visa and extend 33 inches to get nice panning and swiveling out of a big panel, we're pretty confident in its abilities. This is also the first articulating mount that we have that has post-install height adjust. So it's a trend we're seeing in the industry is getting you that little bit of vertical adjustability so you can nail your install within a cabinet, or you can just make sure that if you have a couple panels, they're cinched up, they're aligned properly. So we're really happy about that feature. It gives you huge weight capacity, huge TV support, and the ability to get that huge TV placed flawlessly. So we're really stoked about that product coming out. And the HD part of the product, The height adjust, we're likely to be rolling that out to products in the future. It's something that we want to incorporate into some of our higher end models in the future. So you can expect that to trickle down from the highest end into some of our more affordable base level mounts as well. Then you also mentioned the PT and PF 405. So for a long time, the thinnest tilt mounts and fixed mounts that we had, I think, were 1.4-inch profile, which is pretty slim, but it's really not that slim when you have a frame TV and you're, trying to make it look like it's, just something hanging off the wall, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the industry is requiring ultra low profile mounts, and we've delivered on that. So we have the PT 405. It's a low profile tilting mount, and it has a profile of 0.7 inches. And then we also have the PF 405, the fixed version of that, and that has a profile of 0.6 inches. So, these are fully fledged TV mounts. They're not, some of these like really low profile ones, they mount to like one part of your TV and then they just have a little spacer at the bottom. So it's, just touching the back of your wall. This is like a real TV mount. It has post-install height adjust so you can nail your install. It's got little kickstands that pop out so you can easily access the back of the TV to get to cabling without having to take the whole TV off. They have a little bit of silicone pads on them so they don't damage your TV when you're doing the install. So they got really nice little features that are going to make your TV super flush against the wall and then still give you some serviceability afterwards if you need to adjust anything. And then also get your install perfect, just like that PMX 900. We're going hard into the height adjustability on this product.
And those go up to 90 inches, it looks like it says?
Yeah, so the weight cap of those guys is 125 pounds. So, we spec it to 90 inches, but realistically, I think there's some 100-inch TVs that are getting to that point, but being around 125 pounds. So you can go a little bit bigger. Mm-hmm. It's got an 800 by 600 VISA pattern, so you're not limited by your VISA really at all. So, yeah, they should support very large TVs and still get them really tight against the wall.
Well, yeah, because even these large TVs, even though they're making them so thin, I mean, they still have to have weight to them. So it's still a great thing to be able to support all that. Like you said, too, with the, putting like a sound bar or any other type of accessory.
We have a nice little feature of this, too, is there is actually a little bit of a detent in the home position. So that's one, that's some feedback that we got from some of these low profile mounts is, when you take the profile down so much, there's not a lot of metal to mess with. And if you put a really big TV on there, sometimes they like sag or they like tilt forward. So we actually have a little detent kind of clicks into place to get your panel perfectly vertical. And then if you need to tilt it out, you obviously just tilt it out and it detaches from the detent. So yeah, it's something that we thought about. We wanted to make sure the performance was adequate and would work well with big panels. So yeah, we just made sure that it did.
When you guys test, do you guys test this stuff there, like in where, the main headquarters?
So we have two offices. We have an office in Vancouver, and that's more the creative side of things. And then we have an office in Langley, which is a suburb of Vancouver. Mm-hmm. And that's where a lot of the testing of the mounts happens. That's where we have our, weights and our test walls and our equipment that can measure the different parameters. So yeah, we do all of our testing in-house to make sure that it's up to snuff. We try to go to UL standards for testing. Some of our products are UL listed, but even if they're not UL listed, we're pretty much adhering to those third-party standards to make sure that they are safe and they can, hold the capacity we rate them for. When you see a capacity of a mount that says 200 pounds, just know it was probably actually weight rated to 600 pounds before failure. So we're always very conservative.
Yeah, you don't want to under value.
Yeah.
Or you want to always under deliver over
Perform.
Under promise, over deliver.
There you go.
Yeah, that's the one.
That's right. Yeah. So that mount, that PMX 900 HD, it's rated to 275 pounds. I think that in reality, it's probably close to 700
Wow.
pounds that we have to put on it.
But
You
don't
gotta
try
So
it.
when we get to those big TV mounts, it's actually it's quite a spectacle to see, because you have to load them up. You have to be really careful. Everybody's got their their gear on, their like hard hats and their steel toes, and they're loading this thing up, to putting a ton of weight on it to make sure that it survives it. So yeah, it's quite a sight to see when you get something that extends like 33 inches and it's holding like a ton of weight.
You guys ever like take bets on what it's gonna go to?
So now it's funny, we've never actually done that, because
No, you
we generally don't test to full blown failure. We test to like deflection, and it's really just like we have just like a parameter for what we're comfortable with it deflecting. So yeah, it's not like, oh yeah, we're gonna weight this thing up until it like snaps in half. Yeah, we don't do that.
Right.
You don't go to full blown failure, just because by the time you get to that, what'd you call it, deflection point, you kind of already know.
We're just like, that's where it is.
Yeah. Well, it's cool that you guys, test everything out, in house and everything like that. And you guys are really concerned about, the product and making sure it's solid.
Yeah, of course. Safety is like one of the most paramount things. When you talk to these guys at CEDIA, when you're talking to people who are installing this product, sometimes a UL badge for them, it doesn't mean much if it touches, if they can feel it and they can shake it and move it around. They don't have confidence in the product, right? It doesn't matter what you say, it's what it feels like. So there's also this kind of intangible aspect of design as well, of just like how sturdy something feels and how it's going to come across. And that's something you have to also keep in mind when you're developing product as well. Some of the things we're doing on our most recent products, like our PMX 900, it's our first articulating mount that can go into 3 studs. Is it required? No. It's totally safe up to 275 pounds on 2 studs, but it's feedback that we got from installers. They just want that peace of mind to know that when they get something on the wall, that it's not going to come down. If a kid comes and grabs it and hangs off of it, they're not going to get a call the next day saying, hey, something bad happened, right?
So this past April, Jeff from Kanto actually came to our Davis Expo. And
cool.
Before he left, he dropped off some Kanto Ren speakers and I think the Auras, right?
The Aura 4s, that's what I got on my desk right now.
So Joel's
perfect.
Yeah, Joel's actually using the Aura 4s right now, like for editing videos. Like he'll probably edit this video on those speakers.
Nice.
And then may I say, the Kanto Ren speakers, just beautiful. They're beautiful speakers. We got a white pair, and we tested them out here, and then we sent them to our Columbus branch, and they actually have them on display so dealers can walk in and see them. Could you maybe just give us sort of like an overview of, Kanto's speakers and, what you guys are trying to do? You kind of dived into it a little bit, talking about powered speakers and everything like that, but the Rens are just beautiful.
Yeah, for sure. Our audio side of things, we are trying to kind of take like 3 different aspects. We're trying to, give people great sound. We're trying to demystify hi-fi a little bit too, because there's a bit of, I hate to say, a bit of stuffiness around hi-fi.
Snobbery.
We're trying to demystify that. And we're trying to, make designs that are legitimately like inspiring, something that like, people wouldn't expect, something you see really out of a design house rather than just like a hi-fi company. So those are kind of the 3 things that we're trying to do at the same time with our audio side of things. And, you can see it culminating in Ren, right? Like Ren has the sound quality of, a legitimate hi-fi speaker. We tuned it to be quite neutral. Hits really low, that's thanks to the DSP tuning. We can do some pretty cool stuff with it. But then we're taking stuff from, the world of super common consumer electronics, like a soundbar, right? We have HDMI ARC input, so it works flawlessly, and we have sound modes like voice, a voice boost and like a night mode. So we're taking things that you wouldn't really see in maybe hi-fi speakers, but putting them into a legitimate stereo speaker with like great stereo separation. And it looks super modern and beautiful. It doesn't look like anything else in the market. One of the things we do with all of our speakers, we have like concave cones. We don't like to see those like bubbles in the middle of those dust caps. We try to keep it super clean and minimal. So that's something that we do with Ren. I guess I should maybe just like pull up a photo of it, maybe share it so that people know what we're talking about. Give me 1 second here. This is the different color selections. So you guys had the white version. So very like Stormtrooper-esque. We have it in a really nice like, muted blue, have it in orange, and a nice gunmetal gray as well. So, trying to keep some modern colors as well. But yeah, they're a pretty stunning looking speaker. They're stunning sounding, and they work flawlessly like you'd expect them, right? They just like turn on with your TV and turn off. You can control the volume of them with your TV remote. These are all things that you want and need, in 2025. And they just work, They integrate into people's homes really easily.
And you're saying kind of you sort of built them in a way that not dealers, but end users to sort of demystify hi-fi, right?
That's right. Yeah. So yeah, the demystification of hi-fi is, it's not just through our designs, it's also through our education, right? Like we have our Kanto Solutions YouTube channel. If you go to over here, we have a whole like YouTube channel that is specifically for, educating people about audio. We have some of our most popular videos here are about our sealed versus ported subwoofers, what a DAC is, what's the best speaker input to use. So we're doing the education piece as well. We just want people to feel like,
welcome to the party.
Yeah, like
or educated.
Come check out something a little bit higher end than your Bluetooth speaker. It's not scary. We'll kind of hold your hand through it. We'll explain it in really good detail. What it is. So we play best when we're playing between consumer products and hi-fi. That's where we like to live, like right in the middle. Because it allows us to take those people and give them their first hi-fi experience, and they're comfortable because our design is beautiful and approachable, and we try to make sure they understand what hi-fi is, and it's not scary. When you explain what a DAC is to someone through a long form video, you can actually get it and understand like what it is, what digital audio is, what analog is, and connect those dots with your customer.
In preparation for this episode, I was actually listening to a podcast that you were on probably 5 or 6 months ago. I can't remember the channel, but this was a quote you said about the ORA speakers. You said that the ORA speakers have some DSP trickery to them, and you kind of alluded to it a couple minutes ago. But can you go into that and just basically, you guys were able to make the ORAs sound really good, and you kind of played with the DSP a little bit to achieve that.
When you're reproducing audio, when your speaker is making, playing music, all it is, it's moving air, right? Your woofer, your driver inside of your speaker, it has a certain amount of bandwidth. It has a certain amount of air it can move. You can basically take that bandwidth and you can either make your speaker louder, or you can use that bandwidth to move more air at like a lower frequency, and now you've pushed that bandwidth into creating bass. So what ORA does basically is, the trickery we've done is we put most of the bandwidth of that driver into reproducing sub bass. The speaker itself is a near field speaker. So it doesn't need to go super loud. So basically, instead of, having a speaker that cranks up really loud and taking all that bandwidth into volume, we have a speaker that gets a little bit less loud and takes all that bandwidth into creating bass. So that's kind of what you can do with DSP. I wish I had like a little graph to show you, but if you can just think about it at home, if a speaker has a if it rolls off the bass, at a all speakers at a certain point, they kind of run out of steam, they stop producing bass. What happens is, there's this like kind of this roll off, this graph. Well, if you have this roll off, if this graph is basically, if this is your volume, if you now set the volume lower like this, you're actually getting a little bit lower bass now because you've artificially taken down, the mids and the treble, and now perceptually, it sounds like the bass is louder, is fuller, in comparison to the mids and the bass. So that's hopefully a good idea of kind of what we've done with, a set of speakers like Aura, and even, Aura 4, we do similar things to get that crazy bass extension that you wouldn't expect out of a 3-inch or 4-inch driver.
Yeah, so you're trying to you're trying to tweak it so that there's a better overall image instead of just volume. Then you lose the bass in the volume.
It's kind of about perception, right? The speaker can only produce so much bass if you take down the mids and the treble. If you bring those volumes down, all of a sudden it feels like, holy crap, there's a lot of bass here in comparison to the other frequencies. So you can do some cool stuff. And of course, DSP is not just about that. It's also about, fixing some issues, right? Speaker design is an art, and it's about how much money you have to spend on components versus what you want it to do, right? So if your component, you want to hit a certain price point, and maybe the component has a little bit of a flaw in it at a certain frequency, you can, kind of take that out with DSP. And all it's cost you is the cost of that DSP chip, and you can do your crossovers instead of adding a bunch of components to make them do what you want. You can do it all digitally, and that doesn't cost you any money. So it's a pretty effective tool. We're fully embracing it. We're not holding on to old standards like Class AB amps and full analog design. We're totally comfortable using the full arsenal available to us to deliver some really, really impressive products.
Sounds like science to me. Yeah,
it is science. I think if you use Aura 4 and Aura, you'll probably feel that. You're just there's some science happening here.
I think it's, I think the best part is, the mix, like you said earlier, the mix of it both, because obviously I work here and we go through, we look at all the stuff we sell and that,
other speakers.
But when I take the stuff home and I'm so geeky about it, and my wife yells at me because she just wants to turn on the TV and be able to hear it without turning on 5 different things. It really is that great mix, like you said, with the Rens. You just turn it on and it's there. But then I can still be geeky and do stuff with it.
You got like, when you plug in a subwoofer, it applies a high pass, low pass filter, like, so you can get your cake and eat it too. You can have something that, takes the functionality of a soundbar and then takes one of the coolest features of a home theater receiver in one package.
Right.
So, it's a pretty sweet product.
And I don't have to tell her, make sure to turn the receiver on before you want to listen to something.
There's some other products that we had at CEDIA as well that they're not brand new, but there's something I wanted to quickly talk about. Do you mind if I kind of talking about geeking out right now? You mind if I geek out a little bit on in-wall mounts?
Oh, please do.
Yeah.
Sweet.
We're here for it.
Yep.
So as a product person, there's certain things that I really have a good time developing. And one of the coolest products that, me and the product team and the engineers, we had a really good time making the R600, which is our full-size in-wall mount. Okay, so traditionally, with an in-wall mount, You have a box at the top. That box, for the most part, it can either be really small and it can just hold your, maybe like a little bit of gear, like a streaming device. And then you have your in-wall boxes that, can fit maybe slightly larger components. R600 is made to have a full-blown piece of AV gear inside of the same box as your TV. So we're talking like putting a One Connect box from Samsung into here, or a video game console, or a cable box. You can have that inside of this box, and it just basically sits flush in your wall. And it gives you the ability to do some really cool stuff, because you're actually seeing mini AV receivers that are 5-channel in compact forms. Like Anthem has, I think, their MRX Slim. I forgot. I think Audio Control as well. They have some really thin AV receivers as well.
I think
those can fit
Russound?
inside of the
Russound has a
R600.
couple. Yeah,
Russound does too.
Yeah, so that gives you the ability to basically have a TV that sitting zero gap, that's completely flush against the wall. There's no furniture around it. There's no AV stands. There's no racks. You just have a TV, and then you have, in-wall speakers around you, and that's it.
Yep. Clean.
So
Super
yeah,
clean.
R600 is pretty sweet. You can put this accessory tray below as well. You can move these arms wherever you need them to.
Does that have like knockouts running around it for like wiring and stuff?
Yeah, so there's knockouts. There's 4 knockouts, basically 1, 2, 3, 4 at the top, and those are perfectly sized for old work boxes. So those boxes that install basically like onto drywall rather than having to be nailed to a stud, those just friction fit into the knockouts on this. And then we also have like a little grommet at the top and the bottom, just so you can run normal cabling as well. If you have a TV that has a 300 by 300 VESA pattern or smaller, the plate will recess perfectly into the box. If you have something with 400 by 400, you have little things that stick out with 0.3 inches. And then if you have a TV with a very large VESA 800 by 600, this sticks out 1.1 inches. So it gets you really flush, even with, a pretty large TV. And that's a better profile than, any articulating mount on the market. You will not find an articulating mount on the market with less than, 1.5 inch profile, basically. So yeah, this allows you to do some really crazy jobs. And it also comes with a sick template where it actually can go into your wall. It can be, you can run cabling to it, you can drywall over it, and then you can take that template out and then put the mount in, and your mount is safe and secure, doesn't get scratched up during the install, you don't get paint on it, you don't get drywall mud on it. So you basically just have this perfectly clean mount you can put in at the end of the job. And now your client is very happy with you. Don't have to get a Sharpie out and do anything.
Mess up the new paint.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it extends out a good ways too, so like even the end user would still have access to anything back there if they needed to.
Yeah, of course, it's got about close to 19 inches of extension, so it won't give you like a crazy swiveler pan like the PMX 900 HD would, but you're still going to get with like a 75-inch panel, you're still going to get like good like 30, 35 degrees out of it. So that's sufficient, and also it gives you access to cabling and moving things and accessing things and servicing it later on. So this is a cool product. It's the only, as far as we know, it's the only product in the market that has a box big enough to fit full-size AV components inside of there. Typically, you would have 2 boxes side by side. You'd have one for the mount, and then you'd have one AV box just for running your components to. This just does it in like one shot, one stud spacing. So we really love this product. And if you want, we'll talk about maybe one more thing is our outdoor stuff.
We're here for whatever you want to give us today. So we're down.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful. That's what I like to hear. Let's talk about the PDX 650 SGL. So we've always had outdoor mounts. Well, maybe not always. Maybe at the beginning of the company we didn't. But for the past few years, we've done outdoor stuff. The one problem with outdoor mounts is they're affected by wind, and that's something that not a lot of companies have solved. They've just taken their normal TV mount designs and they've, maybe give it a paint coating that's resistant to
Like
weather,
galvanized kind of thing.
Day. Yeah.
What does the wind end up doing to them?
Well,
Does it
the
rattle?
wind makes your panel flap around.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, if you got an articulating mount that's sitting outside and you're using just a basic whatever outdoor mount that doesn't eliminate any sort of that issue, the wind kicks up. If it's a light gust of wind, all of a sudden now your TV's facing a different direction. And worst case scenario, if you get a hurricane and your TV's flopping around, well, you break your TV,
Yeah.
right? So there's a lot to be said for solving that problem. And so we did it originally last year with the TE300 SG. So we took our TE300, which was our first extended tilt mount, and we created a galvanized plated version of it that now latches into place. It actually clicks into a home position and detents in, and you cannot move that TV without pulling the cables or the cords at the bottom. So there's little quick release cords. And when you undo those, now you can extend the TV out a little bit to get your little bit of pan or to access the back of the TV. So the T300 was a really nice, elegant solution. It's a pop tilt, so it gives you a little bit of cable management. It gives you a little bit of panning. But, what if you want a full-blown articulating mount? What if you want to point your TV into the pool and then you want it to point it to the cabana? Well, we have the PDX 650 SGL, which is I think maybe the second mount on the market that actually has a home latch. So same thing, it'll click into place when you're done using it. You can release it. And then we have a really cool feature where you can actually lock the arms into place when you're using it. So you can take it off of the wall. You can use little kind of handy knobs to lock the arms into place. And now it's going to stay in place when you're using it. It's not going to start drifting or moving away. When you got a big, 75-inch TV and there's a little bit of wind, it acts like a sail. So this will keep it in place so that your viewing position is perfect. And then when you're done with it, you can just unlock the arms and then you can put it against the wall and it'll click into place. And it is the only articulating mount on the market that has stainless steel arms.
Okay.
So, we were doing galvanized steel for our products for a while, and then we realized it's still not up to snuff. So even though we were doing galvanization, which is a better process than some of our competitors that are just using a paint finish, even the galvanization was good enough. So we've decided to go with stainless steel for the articulating arms on the PDX 650 SGL. So you can get years and years of usage out of this thing without any worry about corrosion on this product.
Probably get longer use out of the mount than the TV when you want to update the TV every year.
That's right. I agree. That's kind of what we have in mind for these products is, we just want these things to be used, live very happy lives, deliver great moments to the people that you love, let you connect with, the creative content. So yeah, we're really happy with our new mount assortment. Pretty much everything I talked about today, except for maybe the R600, is going to be available soon, probably, end of the year or beginning of 2026. So these are all things we're really proud of that we showed at CEDIA, and we, got excellent feedback. For the previous show, I'd say we had pretty impressive assortment of products, but we didn't have this many new products that were coming out. So this year was a treat. We had a ton of stuff to show people. And one more thing.
Oh, go ahead. Yep.
One more thing. We have our low profile articulating. So we talked about the super ultra low profile fix and tilt mounts. We have a low profile articulating mount. The specs on this are a little bit deceiving. We say it has 1.9 inches of extension, but realistically what we showed at the show was a prototype, and we should be able to actually get less extension than that. So we we basically kind of from the last few CEDIAs, we've gone the hint that OLED TVs, people don't want to touch them. They're
Mm-hmm.
really fragile feeling.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to create a mount that was super low profile for OLEDs because they're thin TV. We wanted to make it super maneuverable, and we wanted to make sure that you didn't have to touch the panel. So what the PDX 705 does that other mounts do is it has a handle, which isn't crazy and new, but it's not seen on many products. So, you can place those handles below your TV and you don't have to touch your panel.
Is that what that is in the picture there? The handles
Yeah.
at the bottom?
Yeah, those guys there. It has a single pivot point. So it has two articulating arms, but instead of meeting on like a plate with two pivots, they meet at a single pivot point. So they're basically just on one pole that links them. And that allows you to swivel and move the TV super easily. Like it has almost no friction at all. It moves super, super nicely. So in conjunction with those handles, you got a really big panel on there. Maybe you got the 75-inch frame on there. You use the handles, won't touch the panel, and move them around super easily. And then when you're done with it, you push it against the wall, and it's less than 1.9 inches for an articulating mount. So we're trying to create something that you don't really see on the market. We're trying to make something, for OLEDs, for panels that are really delicate. So a little bit less of a brute than some for higher end stuff, but that's the intent. This is a more svelte, easy to manage mount than some of the other stuff that we produce. So we're happy to get that out as well and get some feedback on it. If it's something that people like, we're gonna continue developing some more of these more OLED centric, thinner articulating mounts.
I like that word you use, svelte.
Svelte.
It's very svelte.
Had to bust out the thesaurus for that
one. Sounds like Kanto's just making strides this year. On top of the the new product and the product that you went over, the feature product, you guys got a new look. You got a new logo.
Yes, we do.
Is that part of a sort of, I don't know, a bigger sort of ideology that's kind of coming over Kanto right now? Or I don't know if you can speak to that at all, but it's beautiful. Sure. What you guys are doing. Your logo's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it really is kind of speaking to who we are as a company. The rebrand. We're trying to be a little more personable. We're, like I said, with dabbling between the consumer world and the hi-fi world, you need an approachable looking and feeling brand, right? There's some really ultra premium brands that we could have aspired to be, a Bowers and Wilkins or a Bang and Olufsen or something, but that's not who we are. We're trying to be in that middle point, that place where people feel comfortable, dipping their toes into hi-fi with us. So that kind of plays into just the look and overall feel of our brand. And you look at something like our new speaker, like Yuki that's coming out. It has a very organic design. It's supposed to invoke, a feeling of, pottery. It's got, we have like a little speckled finish on it. We're really embracing like the plastic injection.
I love details like that.
Yeah. So it's like,
it's thought out.
We're trying to make really approachable stuff. And that's how our brand is being reflected. So the redesign is kind of, just honing in on what we've already been doing and just kind of, hyper focusing and like making sure that, from an outside and inside perspective, we have everything, all our ducks in a row about who we are and what we want to do. The rebrand was, was really successful. People really loved the look of our booth and the colors and our typography and everything. Mm-hmm. It's really just kind of like elevated us. And, we've always felt like a little bit of an underdog, in the space. And with this new rebrand, just the way that we look now, we're feeling so much more emboldened to kind of, tackle the bigger competitors and challengers that we have out there.
Well, I think it definitely shows, and it, like I said, It looks great. I did see pictures of the booth, and it was beautiful as well too, just like you were saying.
It's pretty sweet to be working at Kanto right now and being involved in the product side of things, because we're just cooking up such cool things. We're just taking, such a hard look at, what our competitors are doing, and more importantly, what they're not doing, and trying to fill those voids and those niches, and listening to our customers, whether they be consumer end users or whether they be installers, people doing deployments of big AV stuff. We're trying to fill all those needs and be that one-stop shop for all those people.
I got one more question for you.
Sure.
With a last name like Zavarella.
Say it right.
Yeah.
Zavarella. my last name's Taliani, so I had to ask if it was an Italian name before we got started here. But did you grow up in a like a big Italian family, or?
So I have two parents who are both second gen Canadian. They were both born here in Canada.
Okay.
I did not learn the language.
Okay.
So unfortunately, I am what a lot of true Italians would call a munja cake. I am pretty much Italian in name only, but very North America centric. Yeah. Yeah. And I barely use my hands to talk. I mean, maybe I was using them a lot, but you just couldn't really see because I had them, down here. But yeah, I could be more emphatic potentially just with my background if I wanted to be.
So no Sunday gravy, meat sauce on Sundays, anything like that? No.
Well, we had some pretty amazing family dinners. I had some delicious food, but nothing like you see in the movies, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Well, not like The Sopranos.
Not like The Sopranos. The gabagool, like you were saying.
Gabagool, yeah. I mean, there was always gabagool in my house. I will say that.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
There was always more
then.
than Capicolo in my fridge. So I guess maybe I am more Italian than I'm letting on.
You can't. It's in the DNA. It's baked in. You can't get out of it.
Yeah. I take it for granted. I don't even realize it.
I mean, my cheese drawer's stocked up with deli meats.
Yeah.
I love salamis and all kinds of different ones, prosciutto and,
Yeah. Four different types of provolone inside your fridge.
Yeah. There's a really great Italian deli that's across the river from us that I'll go to, and they fresh make the bread and everything, that you can buy like full loaves of fresh bread, and you can get like cold cuts and salami and, like you were saying, all kinds of different cheeses sliced for you. And
it just smells Italian.
It does. When you walk in, it just smells Italian. But
it's really funny. Of course, we're on the trade show circuit for audio too, so we go to Axpoda as well. And I was super bummed out that I didn't get invited to go to Axpoda this year. Mostly like just the marketing and sales team went. And the reason why is because really close to the Schaumburg Convention Center is a place called Funuccio and Sons Italian Deli and Catering. And it is by far the best pizza. They call it. It's not even pizza. It's a weird name, Sfiscioni or something like that.
I don't know.
I'm not Italian.
Yeah, I don't know if I've heard of that even.
Yeah. Anyways, super legit place, and that's like low key the only reason why I wanted to go to Axpona this year, is just so I could go back there and just have a taste of that delicious pie that they make.
I don't have anything else to cover unless you do. Is there anything else you want to go over or touch on?
That kind of covers it. We could go all day about our products because we have so many of them.
Yeah.
But I think we covered all the new stuff that came out. There is some other stuff, like we got some other tilt mounts. We got the T300 and T300P. We kind of had a bit of a gap in our product line. We had, our PT series that was it was a tilt and a fix on like a single plate. Now we have like a nice, economy open frame, so you can like put it over an AV box or that sort of thing. And the T300P is meant for portrait mounting TVs, which is becoming more common. So, we got some cool stuff, but they're pretty basic products in the grand scheme of things, so not worth talking a whole lot about. So personally, I feel like we've done a good job covering, what we're about, what we show at CEDIA, and what our new products are in development. So I'm happy to wrap it up if you guys are too.
Yep.
Well, awesome. So we just thank you for coming on with us today. And it was, as always, it was a pleasure meeting you. And maybe one day we'll get to meet in person and maybe go find some gabagool together.
That's right. And Joel, Jason, Rudy getting some gabagool sandwiches. Sounds like a good plan.
And, but before we go, is there any socials you want to plug or anything, or website, Kanto?
Sure. Yeah. So CantoMounts.com, CantoAudio.com. We got 2 different sites for our 2 different categories. Of course, that Kanto Solutions YouTube channel. Please check it out if you haven't. We put a ton of work and effort into demystifying hi-fi and even just doing general education about AV. We got a lot of videos about mounts on there as well. So take a look there. It might not be something, for installers, they might not learn a whole lot maybe on the mount side of things, but, maybe you'll learn something on the audio side of things if you're not, as strong, in that category. It could be something that could level up your game. Hopefully I'm a good enough explainer of things to take things from a hard to learn level and take it down to a level where it's really understandable.
And you're the one doing those videos?
I do a lot of them.
Okay.
I do a lot of those videos. Yeah, I
Okay.
write them and deliver a lot of those more educational videos myself.
Awesome.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Cool.
Thanks again for coming
Thank you,
on,
Jason.
and you're welcome back anytime.
Very rad. All right. Thanks for having me.
So that was a good episode. Kanto's making a lot of strides. Kanto Ren speakers, auras,
Yep.
new mounts, the PMX 900 HD.
Yeah, it seems like they had a pretty good year at CEDIA this year.
Yeah, PT 405 and PF 405, also new mounts that are coming out for them. With the rebranding and kind of the look, sounds like they had a really great CEDIA.
He kind of hinted at a new speaker as well.
He did, yes. Yep.
So we'll have to be on the lookout for that. Well,
Wrap it up.
Rudy.
You want to wrap it up this
Well,
time?
Rudy, it's been an awesome show, and it's been awesome being here with you.
Is that your tagline?
Yep.
You got to look at the camera.
I'm looking at you.
You got to say,
And we'll see you guys next time.
there you go. Do it again. I
And
must
we'll
I
see
shouldn't
you
have-
guys.
I should have said that. Go ahead. Wrap it up.
And we'll see you guys next time.